There we are. I timed out the first time, but I'm here. I'm here. A little late. I blame YouTube. Or Comcast. Or both. Let's blame YouTube and Comcast. Because why would we take responsibility for anything? I mean, it's not our fault the internet didn't work. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday, February 27th, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Oh, man. Yeah. Had a good day. Yesterday was a good day. Got a lot of hours in. Did a lot of work. Did some really good work. How many hours did I work yesterday? 5, 6, 9. I think it ended up being 9 hours. It's a lot of hours. It's not a bad day. All good stuff. Coached some CrossFit. Worked on some tax returns. Because I do that now. And did some consulting. And of course, did some whistlekick work. Shipped out some product. Did some email. Some customer service stuff. Some website stuff. Just chipping away. Just doing what we can. Doing what we can with what we have where we're at, right? That's all you can do. The other day, I forgot to mention this. The next draft of the strength and conditioning program is out for feedback to people. And based on how this goes, we might have a pre-release version. It's hard to say. There might be something. We'll have to put some improvements into it. But it might be time. It might be time. Yeah, I'm excited for this to come out. Because it's, one of the things that's challenging with what we do is that because we are unifying, because we don't say, here's how you do a thing, here's the right way to do things, we're not going to put out videos on forums or how to do a kick or how to do a punch or anything around technique. Because it doesn't apply to everybody. People disagree. People get upset, frustrated, and it just creates a lot of controversy. But what's universal? Getting stronger, getting healthier, getting fitter, motivation, things like that. And so this program, by putting this out, we don't say this is the only way to get stronger. We're saying this is another option for getting stronger. If we put out videos that said, here's another way to kick, it's not going to do anything for anybody. I don't see anybody responding to that. I have ways of kicking that aren't what most people do, but are they what nobody does? No. And if this strength and conditioning program goes well, the next one's flexibility. Or maybe speed. I've got outlines written for both. How to get faster, how to get stretchier. Because let's face it, most of the people out there teaching this stuff, one, are just repeating what everybody else is saying. And two, they don't know how to teach. Not everybody, absolutely not everybody. But there's a lot of that stuff out there. So if we can put out some great educational content that makes you better at whatever martial art you do, I think that is up our alley. It's Thursday, so there's an episode of Martial Arts Radio. Today is a audio-only rebroadcast of Martial Arts Radio Live episode 5, and the next episode of that series, number 6, will be available on Facebook on Tuesday. I'll go live on Facebook, 8 p.m. this coming Tuesday, so you should check that out. Join me. We have fun. It's kind of like this, but just different style. What's going on today? Bring my car back to the dealer for more work. More work. Another recall. I'm so ready to be done with this thing. Dentist. Consulting work. Got a podcast interview this afternoon. We're trying to build up the buffer. Trying to have more episodes ready to go, ready in the can. And so because of that, we've scheduled some people a little more frequently. Try to get all that going. Consulting. Yeah. And that's about it. A lot of work. I'll probably do some kind of workout tonight. So let's see what kind of comments and questions you guys threw in at me last night. Remember, if you want to ask something, I hope you do, drop it below. I'll answer it tomorrow. Here we go. Oh, come on. Press some buttons. Press some buttons. All right. This morning we have 3 quotes from Toni Morrison. I know that name. Why do I know that name? Who's Toni Morrison? Hold on. This is where Google is super handy. ToniMorr. These things can't keep up. Need to reboot. American novelist. Chloe Anthony Wofford Morrison, known as Toni Morrison, was an American novelist, essayist, book editor, and college professor. Her first novel, The Bluest Eye, was published in 1970. The critically acclaimed Song of Solomon brought her national attention and won the National Book Critics Circle Award. There you go. Now we know who Toni Morrison is. If you want to fly, you have to give up the things that weigh you down. That's powerful. That's something I need someone to barge in my house and tell me when I'm being dumb. It's one of those, it's almost one of those I would expect people to tattoo on their forearm. It's a little long for that, but you see people that tattoo reminders on their forearm. If you want to breathe, if you want to fly, you have to first give up the things that weigh you down. We do that in our training. There are things that we do as beginners that are kind of crutches, just the way we handle blocks and being so regimented. And in every martial art, at least that I've experienced, the further you progress, the more fluid things become, the more free-form they become, the more responsibility you have for your own training. I know the world is bruised and bleeding, and though it is important not to ignore its pain, it is also critical to refuse to succumb to its malevolence. Like failure, chaos contains information that can lead to knowledge, even wisdom, like art. A lot of us have this tendency that to devalue the lessons that come from pain, for example. Pain's a wonderful teacher. We've talked about this on Martial Arts Radio. If you get punched in the face, you're more likely to remember whatever you did or didn't do that allowed yourself to get punched in the face than if you just kind of take a little bit of contact, right? If you Here's one for you from my own world. The first time I broke concrete, I did a downward elbow. So I hit here, which is much softer than the other surface I could have used, which is here, not the elbow point, right? Not here. I went here. I should have gone here. That bruise lasted for weeks. I will now remember that the next time I break. Actually, I think the last time I broke was at training day. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I used an elbow. And I did it the right way this time. Next. No, not next. Chaos contains information that can lead to knowledge, even wisdom, like art. I think there is it's really gross. I think there's a real benefit to chaos. I think in society we are under this illusion that we have control over things. And unfortunately, what's going on right now with the coronavirus is a perfect example. China shut down their borders, and there's all this, all this procedure and all these things. And please don't let it go political. I want. It reminds me of Stacy is confirming my elbow break. She was there. She got me to do it. Nature finds a way, right? Nature is a chaotic system. A large group of people is a chaotic system. And you can try to organize that, and there are times that that's appropriate. There are times you go with the flow. So much of the advice we get in life is to go with the flow. Why? Because you're not going to stop the world. You're not going to stop the way everyone around you acts. You're not going to stop life. It's exhausting to go upstream. Just go with the river, right? Go where it takes you. Sometimes there are waterfalls. Sometimes there are rocks. Sometimes there are pools of slow-moving, wide, shallow water. And just hang out. It'll get fast again, and it'll get slow again. And you take the lessons from wherever you're at. And that's something I've been working on, recognizing that no matter what's going on, there are lessons to take from it. Almost at the end of this Costa Rican coffee, and I'm going to be very sad because it's very good. Last quote. I tell my students, when you get these jobs that you have been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. This is not just a grab bag candy game. And I think that applies very well to martial arts. As you develop knowledge, it is your responsibility to share knowledge, to educate others, to support and help others in and out of training. I will go so far as to say that if you have an understanding of violence and group violence and how that all plays out, it is your responsibility to watch over others. Even if it gets you some jokes, right? You should be the one watching the door. You should be the one observing. You should be the one making sure people are safe. Is it your responsibility? To a certain degree, yes. People are their own person, and they have the right and the responsibility themselves to make their own decisions. But you can find ways to influence that based on an understanding that they don't have. Whether or not you're an instructor, you take care of the people around you. And hopefully that means you never have to use your training, but it might. And if you have to, you do. You step up when you're needed. Lately, one of the subjects we've heard on the show, and actually I don't know if either of these episodes have aired yet. I don't think so. We've talked about what it means to be a warrior. And what does a warrior do in peacetime? They just sit there? No. They keep up their training. But what else do they do with their time? They support the society. They support the people around them. If you look at our own military, it's not just fighting. There are entire divisions that, when they're not fighting, they're doing other things. The National Guard's probably the best example. Right? They don't usually get involved in combat because it's not often that combat comes to the U.S., but they're still out there helping, especially in times of disaster. And this is what a warrior does. A warrior lends the same passion to protect the interests of the people during war and during peace. Most of us are never going to experience war, and that's great. And there are a lot of people out there who think that martial arts is only training for war. And that's silly. Because you can be much more valuable to the people around you if you take the lessons from your martial arts training and you apply them to peaceful scenarios. This is the next thing that I'm starting to contemplate and work through. And I'm happy that we had a couple guests bring up this subject, because it's got me thinking. It helps me wrap my brain around that. So I want you to do that. In fact, that's going to be your homework. I want you to think about what you would imagine a warrior doing in peacetime. And then how much of that can you do for the people around you that matter? Don't forget, we do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, here on YouTube. Subscribe, turn on notifications so you can catch it. And you know what? If you haven't told anybody about this show, please do. It's ridiculous, right? The entire premise of this show is silly. Hey, come watch this guy drink his first cup of coffee in a bathrobe live on the air. Why do we do this? Well, hopefully it gives you some things to think about. Hopefully it's a way to start your day that is a little more positive than maybe some of the other options that you might consume on television or on the radio. That's my hope. And if you want to support Whistlekick for all the things that we do, a couple easy ways. Make a purchase at whistlekick.com. Use the code FIRSTCUP15, save you 15% on a shirt or a hat or a uniform or some gear. Or support the Patreon. Patreon.com/whistlekick. And if you spend $5 a month, we'll send you more content. I hope tomorrow's Friday. I hope we got some more questions, some more comments. Frank's doing a great job. Thank you, as always, Frank. But let's get some diversity in there. I think you guys can tell that the flow is better when I've got a variety of different types of questions. And you know what? It challenges me, and I appreciate that challenge. So I hope you have a great, great day. Go think about the warrior mindset in peacetime. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.